You hit on it earlier, man. Back to a woke classic. We just cannot get past it, right? Right?
We can't.
No, every time you think it's over, they just bring it back another way.
It has, before you get into it and start to interrupt, it has decreased substantially.
Yes.
Do you remember if you even said something about trans or like transphobic, shut up. When there's a different president, when there's a different boss, it's like, bro, keep that shit. I feel bad for them. What do we say in the car? We have to pray for these people, not just pat them on the back and be like, yeah, live in your delusional world. No, they need freaking help. They're screaming for help.
Well, as you're going to see, we've put the right people in the right places to make this happen, but there are still some old obstacles making it hard to get past it, right? So as we know, and I think we all support fully, one of President Trump's first orders of business getting back into office was to sign an executive order and address men and women's sports, which he did immediately. We have a clip for that. It's actually a really cool clip. It's
I love this
we can
clip.
play that. We can play that.
So
Guys.
wholesome. I love it.
Yeah, this was a great clip.
Watch the signature.
Watch what I do.
Watch what I do. I didn't realize.
So-
What a nice picture.
Look at this.
Huh, Governor? You ready? We'll do a good job.
Oh, look, he's making sure it's good. Joe Biden would have sniffed every single one of those kids.
Oh my God.
He would have.
I want to make this a really
Dude,
good
look,
signature. Because this is, this is a big one, right?
Dude, look at this. Dude, that signature takes, watch.
Oh, I think we have a 10.
It's amazing.
We have a 10.
Writing his own signature. I love it.
And it's amazing because the pen never leaves the paper. Somehow he continues the flow without, and it's two different names. It's a thing of art, to be honest
love
with
it.
you. And I voted for Biden in 2020, and
It's
I love
okay.
watching that.
I mean,
Not
well,
this
his son
time.
has really good art. But yeah, that's art.
All right, so this clip is the best. He's surrounded by young female athletes. A friend of ours, Riley Gaines, was there. It wound up being a huge clip. But at the same time, another big clip, if you remember from a couple of months ago, was Maine Governor Janet Mills. And she went pretty viral as she refused to comply with Trump's ban, leading to this exchange. And this one got a lot of
I
press.
love this one, too.
Donald
Favorite.
Trump laid it down on this one. So if we can run that real quick, Governor Mills.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law.
Oh.
Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that.
Wow.
That should
By
be
the
a
way,
real easy one.
she's folded, right? She's folded.
Right. So we're going to get to there. So this was pretty
Let him
awesome.
cook.
Let him
Cook out
cook.
my bag.
But it's the best because you don't get a chance to like see how the recipe's made all the time, right? You hear about these exchanges, but to be able to see them is pretty awesome. Now, Governor Janet Mills, let's tell you a little bit more about her. Who is she? We're
That's
going to give you some
Brandon.
clarity. So first of all, we've got a photo of Governor Mills. This is her for anyone who's not familiar. Obviously, she seems to fall in line with the agenda.
Yep.
And then
That's exactly what you call it.
and then we have a clip sort of kind of giving us a better
thought
feel
that
for
was
what
Elon.
Governor
I thought somebody put a dentist. Can you go back to that? It looks like Elon with a dentist
gosh.
like wig on. I'm
drunk.
sorry.
He's been drinking.
I thought that was a joke. I apologize.
No, that
all
was the
good.
real thing.
That's a
Yesterday,
shocker.
you might have had a worry, not today.
That's a shocker.
And then Janet Mills. Obviously, this is this is a clip of Janet Mills at a drag queen show, doing what people like Janet Mills do. If we can run that.
What is that really? Her? That's her?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, she's down.
All right. So, I mean, we can stop it there. So this was in February, right? And where does that leave us now? So as of March 21st. Maine state-funded schools backed down and, like Vinny said, agreed to comply with President Trump's ban, which unfortunately made Governor Mills look like she often looks pretty terrible. Because when she comes out and she's the leadership of your state saying we will not comply, blah, 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 and then the state decides to back down, obviously, what does that tell you about the strength in her leadership?
Of course.
Obviously nothing. So you might think that this was the end of it, but you would be wrong. Because as of yesterday, Governor Mills has yet to back down. And now, old favorite, Linda McMahon. We all know Linda McMahon, right? Mm-hmm. She's the Secretary of Education, and this prompted her to issue a final warning threatening to cut off federal funds. And we have Secretary McMahon's warning right here. Yesterday, we issued a final warning letter to Maine's Department of Education for ongoing refusal to comply with Title IX. Complying with Title IX is not difficult. We will ensure federal funds no longer support illegal practices that harm women
Bro,
and girls.
the people in her district and her constituents, they're probably banging down her door and calling every 5 minutes like, listen, change your dumb ass point of view. Like, I'm still boggled of how we let this small minority group take over. And I get it. I know from what she is and what she looks like and what she's supporting, how these people are just completely gone. But boys and girls are different. Me and her competing in the same sport is not fair. It's not freaking fair. And the fact that we're still playing this freaking game is unbelievable to me. I don't understand, Rob.
And it's also a danger to the women. Look at the videos, and they're out there of trans athletes, like the volleyball player that suffered a concussion because she got spiked in the face
her eyes messed
with
up.
a volleyball by a transgender person.
A dude.
Sure. It's just not even an issue of if it's fair or not. Clearly, it's not. But at what point, when you don't protect women, are you putting them at risk for what? For the moral high ground to say that you're for equal rights, but then you're not for equal rights because you're not for women being able to be protected when they're competing against other equal women.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, there's people even within the trans community who are calling out this entire thing and saying that it shouldn't be the case. And they're being called Buck Angel, Blair White. There's plenty of them. Chloe calls them detransitioners, but what's so crazy about this whole thing is like a trans person will literally get called transphobic for holding that opinion. How is a trans person going to be transphobic? It makes no sense.
Oh yeah, so it's when they call a black person or like a Jewish person that's like anti some of the things that another government's doing, and they're like, oh, you're anti-Semitic. Like, I'm Jewish.
Right.
I'm a Syrian too.
Candace Owens, notorious white supremacist.
Yeah,
right?
give me. Oh man.
Yeah, it's absurd. And then, but the crazy thing you're seeing over the last couple of years is even the LGBT community is starting to really get fed up with the T's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they sort of go against everything that the lesbian, gay, and LGBT community has been fighting to. Any progress they've fought to make in the last bunch of years has kind of been like rescinded.
It's a tease. It's a tease. They're just, dude. And you know what sucks? For the actual L's and the gays and you know what I mean? I have friends and family that are.
Yeah.
And it's like the amount of stuff that they had to go through to get to, was it your uncle? Umberto?
Yeah.
Umberto's uncle, my cousins. It's like, bro, if the plight of getting to where they got to, and then this
To be left alone. That was the whole point, to be left alone.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
And then these people are just coming out of the woodwork like, no, you have to call me this because, no, oh my God.
Right.
It just drives me bananas. Bro.
And with my background, I know you guys know, but not everybody knows. Like, I work with athletes all the time, so I'm probably as in tune as anybody with the difference in them. I have some killer girls, like girls that could beat some really bad boys in speed and not often strength. But I'll have a 17-year-old All-American girl and an average boy, and it's just. There is no comparison, unfortunately.
She's nasty.
They could both be incredible for their division or their ages, but there must be divisions and ages because there is clear differences. And we've gone through this a bunch of times.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we had a male and female division in the first place. Ever since the dawn of time, it's only until about like 10 seconds ago that people were like, actually, this is unfair.
It's so weird how it's changed since. This is going to make us sound old.
I am.
What year did you graduate high school?
1996.
Okay. Whew. Okay, sorry.
Hey, kiss my ass.
Sorry.
Did you have an asthma attack?
I'm sorry, yes, because I'm fat. 2004, I graduated. But even then, the only kids, and please don't think that I'm like homophobic by saying this. I'm not. We had two guys that were in our crew that we suspected of being gay, but even they had beards in high school. They didn't talk about it. They came out later in life and they've lived their authentic lives, and I'm happy for them. It doesn't change my opinion. But when I was growing up, it was something that was almost hidden. And now it's become something that's been celebrated to an extreme where it's like, if you don't accept this celebration, what the fuck is wrong with you? And it's like, whoa, bro, I like parades too, but I don't want to watch people deep throat dildos while it's going on. And like, sorry, that small segment of that community, of the LGBT community, the T's, I feel like the small, because it's not every trans person.
Exactly.
There are trans people out there that, okay, they feel this way. That's their authentic life.
Fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
And there are ones like Buck Angel who are like, no, I look like a guy. I'm going to use the men's room. Or I'm, whatever the case may be. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a small minority of a small minority of society that we're listening to, that we cater to, that we play to, and all of a sudden it becomes the rules for not the entire majority. It's such a small group of people that are acting weird about this thing, but then we're the weirdos, according to everybody, for talking about it and going, that's weird to us.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird, okay? Can we just say that things are weird today?
Weird.
And it's become a social contagion. You know, you look, the days of Buck Angel, he was one of the first people to do a successful female to male transition. And back then, you actually needed to live as the opposite gender and socially transition before you were allowed to do any hormones, any surgeries. I believe it was for like a year. So I think the issue, I completely agree with what you're saying, Rob. It's a minority of a minority. And where that issue really started to take place was when they removed gender dysphoria from the DSM and started allow people to self-identify as these things. It's all the people self-identifying
Do you know
that are
when
the
that
issues.
was? Like what year?
Let me look. I think it was in the 2000s
While she's
was
looking for that, it's just horrifying. Tucker just did an interview with this pilot lady. She was a badass pilot lady captain, and she's furious about women flying planes, but she's an airline.
She's a pilot.
But she said they've removed, part of removing this is so trans people can fly planes.
2013, with the release of DSM-5, the diagnosis was renamed to gender dysphoria.
Because pilots are not allowed to have mental illnesses.
Well, look,
That makes sense.
I guess if there's a good part of this, it's that Governor Mills is drowning in problems in Maine already. Maine CDC already laid off workers due to $91 million in terminated federal funds.
Almost 100 mil
So
gone.
we are starting to see the residual effects of some of these
It sucks for
ridiculous
those
decisions.
workers,
It
though.
definitely
right?
does.
because of your stupid ass leader.
But right, and that's the thing, right? We've seen this forever where the rules hurt the people, but the people keep on voting for the bad people. So
Right.
we're going to hope that this one changes. And I guess just a quick follow-up on the OG trans athlete for anyone wondering. Leah, a.k.a. Will Thomas.
Will, what up,
As
dog?
we see on
William.
the screen here, the number 554th ranked male swimmer and number 1 women's swimmer vows to continue the fight. And we have an article here where Leah Thomas is still mad and as delusional as ever, and we will follow up on that for sure.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Yeah, what do you got?
Chris, you would probably know more than anybody, but Rob, I want all you guys' opinion. How far you think we are from having like just a transgender league where you could bring your boobs, your crotch, your balls, whatever you want to bring. You guys have your own thing. Go over there, boys, do whatever the hell you guys want. Boys and girls and boys and have that. Like when is that going to happen? Because they're trying to infiltrate regular people's sports. Like it's just, obviously it's not fair to the women. It's not fair to anybody because it's like the girl that I just talked about that took a knee. Like I wouldn't play. The fact that people are even every single person, even what's Riley Gaines, she should have been like, no, none of us are going to compete.
So here's why I tell you, here's why I think that'll never happen. Because I think so much of why they transition is their own insecurity and their own inability to deal with being bad. So like the 554th ranked male swimmer transitioned so he could see some success in his life.
Lazy
I think if
scumbag.
the entirety of the group decides to make their own league, then they're going to kind of fall back to the mean again, and nobody's going to be great anymore. And they're
But
going
it would be fun to
I was
watch.
going to say it would be
what has
so
to happen
entertaining.
this is
Oh
what
my
has to
God.
happen. This is what has to
hilarious.
happen. We have to find like the one conservative with the biggest stones in the world who plays in the NBA or plays in one of these leagues and says, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to make the jump over to the WNBA.
Like Juwanna Man.
And Juwanna
Did you ever
Man.
see that
Exactly.
movie?
Exactly.
Oh, of course.
And go get like a Jokic triple-double from last night.
my
It needs to be
goodness.
60, 20, 20 every night. And just let everyone see, like, all right, there's definitely something different here. You know?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean,
That's a great
I
idea.
think that's a fantastic idea. Like LeBron or somebody. LeBron's career is kind of.
And I think we're like a couple of years ago that would be unimaginable. I think there's someone crazy enough. Now we're probably a couple of years away, obviously, before someone even stands up to do that. But I think there's someone crazy enough who'll do it at some point to prove a point, who believes enough and is willing to give up their career at some point.
Rodman, he will do it.
Rodman,
A Rodman type, a Draymond Green type, someone who
Draymond would be
who
hilarious.
doesn't conform, who really believes in what. Like, look, you look at a guy, and it's completely different, obviously, but a guy like Pat Tillman, who was willing to give up everything
to go
for a
fight.
cause.
Yeah.
If you believe enough of this, like you get a guy whose little brother maybe or something got woke mind virus and says, "All right, I can't do this no more. I'm going to go over and make a difference." It might take something crazy like that, but
I think it would work though.
I mean, come on. Like, the thing is that I never engaged with this problem because I think female sports, they suck. I don't care about it. I feel a little bit bad about girls that might get a scholarship, to get taken that away from them. But it's such women's sport. Is such
The numbers don't lie. I mean, when you look at the most major of women's professional sports, the WNBA, we've talked about this on the
Loses how
PBD
much money?
podcast every year over year. It's never made a
$40
profit.
million
So
they
it's not just
that was
your
this year their best year.
and that's not just your opinion.
This
It's
is a
the
market
market's
opinion.
opinion.
This is market
And so
opinion.
the market says
love,
no
women,
interest.
I love like women's chess, women's tennis, something that's
Women's volleyball.
I mean, we were talking before the show started about like Bethany Hamilton. She's a world famous surfer, and her story is absolutely incredible. I feel like there's a lot of stories, just individual stories that people get attached to.
Okay, her story is incredible, but she's never been a good surfer.
What do you mean? She wins competitions. What are you talking about?
She doesn't sell a single Billabong T-shirt. Like
I bet she certainly
I can't
has.
remember. Like,
she sold a bunch of Roxy
Yeah, a
stuff.
bunch,
I bet.
a bunch of stuff.
I was very into surfing. I watch every single surf movie. There's surf parts that I have ingrained in my brain, but I can't remember a single video part by her. A single one.
Look, at the end of the day, though, I think we love things being done at the highest level. We love
100%.
greatness. And the thing is not that the girls are so bad, but it's once you see a guy do something on a 10-foot hoop and dunk or do
Kelly
something
Slater was
explosive.
doing
it's very,
backflips.
but
Come
that's
on.
that's why Caitlin Clark has had some success, is because if you look at like the numbers, she's shooting the same length 3 as the men are.
Yeah.
And that's why she does it with a little flair, and she's changed the game.
Yeah.
But the majority of them aren't able to do that, and that's where we find trouble with it.
ESPN said that she is one of the ESPN anchors said that Caitlin Clark is successful because she's white and from
Yes.
Middle America.
Yes,
Okay, all
that
right,
was
no.
Monica McNutt.
Guess what? She's just nasty.
Like
anyway.
JD Vance.
Yeah, but she said some stupid. Yeah, but she made some dumb comments, so I'm done with her. So if you like this clip, click right here, and if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.